Businesses say they need time to prepare, but the province says it's still too early to know if restrictions will be lifted on January 26th as first planned.
This all to curb the spread of the Omicron variant. The province reduced capacity in retail stores and just shut down indoor dining. But Ontario's top doctor says there's still no guarantee that measures will loosen in a couple weeks, although he says hospitalizations and ICU numbers will be key indicators. Kelly Botello begins our coverage.
Ontario's Chief Medical Officer of Health says businesses will have to wait a bit longer to know whether or not they can loosen COVID restrictions come January 26th, the date the province will either lift Step 2 measures or keep them going.
We don't have great clarity yet, so I can't guarantee the 26th.
But the Ontario Chamber of Commerce says businesses shouldn't have to wait until the last minute to know how or if they can operate.
That is incredibly costly and exceptionally hard to do.
Currently, cinemas, gyms, casinos, and other businesses are closed, and restaurants can't have any indoor diners. Businesses here on James Street North say they would appreciate a heads up from the government before reopening so that they can bring back their staff and put in their orders.
And I have to bring in extra staff, so it's dishwashers and servers. So of course it makes it's extra work, and we have to make our adjustments.
The owner of Charred Restaurant says he considers himself one of the lucky ones because they own the building. But if he had to pay rent, he says he would likely be out of business.
As you can see, it's lunchtime and we are empty in the restaurant.
And newcomers to James North, owners of the Bard and Bear Game Board Cafe, say they opened their doors just a few weeks ago and already are feeling the impact of not being able to host groups for game nights and treats.
The nature of our business is we want to have people in, we want to have people playing games and sitting at tables. Board games by nature are a very community-based thing.
If the last week is any indication, no, January will not be enough to pay the bills. Dr.
Kieran Moore says the stress on hospitals will be the main factor that will determine whether Ontario will get out of Step 2.
We need, as a society, to continue to protect the healthcare system. I'm looking for a plateau and a peak.
Adding that loosening restrictions would be gradual, with smaller settings opening first.
So the last thing to open would be mass gatherings of 20,000 people in a stadium.
Moore says the data might present greater clarity next week if Ontario cases are plateauing or continuing to rise. Kelly Botello, CHCH News.